Electrodynamics, semester 2, working a problem. Balloons, I guess, because why not? So here's the problem. It's 7.7 from Griffiths 4th edition Electrodynamics. We have a circuit that looks like this. There's a resistor, there's a magnetic field B going into the board. We have a movable rod with a mass M. I know there's a lot here, just calm down. And this is the length L. So the bar starts off moving with the velocity V this way. And so we have the following questions. What's the current in the through the resistor? Let's do that one first. And then we're going to look at the force. If we start with an initial velocity, what's the velocity as a function of time? And then finally, is energy conserved? Let's go to it. I want to find the EMF across the bar two different ways. So let's just start off with the first way, motional EMF. I'm going to rederive it. So imagine that I have a bar in a magnetic field. It's a metal bar, and I have a plus and minus charge in there. So I'm going to put a plus, and I'm going to put a minus, just one of each. Let's just assume there's one of each, plus and minus. If this bar is moving with the velocity v, then there is a force on those charges, right? So I can write the force on the charge is qv, not the vector v, qv cross b. And so v and b are perpendicular, so I could just do qvb. But the important thing is the direction, right? So I have qv for the positive charge is that way, b is that way. So qv cross b, the force on this charge is going to be up. If I use the negative charge, qv is this way, the force on the negative charge is down. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to get positive charges up here and negative charges down here. I'll get a charge separation by moving that bar through the magnetic field. It's not connected to a wire or anything. Now, once I get a charge separation, I'm also going to get an electric field, E. The total charge, this is going to keep on getting a charge separation until the total force is 0. So I will get QE is QVB, right? The magnetic force and the electric force are equal and opposite so that it gets to an equilibrium position. The Q's cancel, obviously. But now I have an expression for the electric field. Now I can calculate the EMF as the integral of E dot dl across that bar. Well, if the electric field's constant, we can say the electric field's constant, and so we get the EMF is going to be E times L. But E is QVB, so EMF is VBL. So that's my potential difference across this bar moving through the thing. That's motional EMF, or as I like to call it, emotional EMF, and I don't know why. I always think emotional EMF, but it's just motional EMF. So let's put that up here. EMF is VBL. Got that? Okay. Now we're going to do this another way and get the same thing. So suppose I move this bar. Well, I know that Faraday's law says that the EMF is equal to negative the derivative of the flux with respect to time. The negative just shows you the sign, so we don't even need to know about that. I can actually write this over some short time interval. Let's see, let's just write the flux. So here's my flux. So this is at some location x. So the flux is going to be equal to BA, right? Because B and A are in the same direction. The area vector and A are in the same, and B are in the same direction. So it's B dot A, but we can just write that as BA. And that's going to be equal to B times X times L. So the area of that's X times L is the box. Now, as I move this way, the X value changes. So I can take the derivative of this, d phi dt is going to be, well, B's constant, L's constant, but X is not, and I get dx dt. Oh my goodness, look at that, B, L, V, it's the same thing. So Faraday's law and emotional EMF give the same result. Now, if I take that bar, remember that, get that charge separation, and I connect it, well, I don't continually have a charge separation because I'll get a current. And so, but I'll still have the same change in potential across there. And that's why it's called an EMF. So there's my EMF. Now I have a simple circuit, right? It's just like this is a battery, except that the EMF of the battery is VBL, and I can use Ohm's law. So EMF equals IR, and that's going to be equal to VBL equals IR. So I is VBL over R. Now, what direction will that go? Now we have to think about Lenz's law. So Lenz's law says that the direction of the induced current will make a magnetic field, and that magnetic field, the induced magnetic field, will oppose the change in flux. That's a lot coming out of my mouth right there. Okay, so you need to practice with that. But in this case, if I have the magnetic field is into the board and I'm increasing the flux, this wants to make a magnetic field that says don't increase the flux. So it wants to make a magnetic field coming out of the board. So if I use the right-hand rule, that says the current's going that way. Okay, so VBL over R. Got that. Next, what is the force on the wire? So let's calculate the force. I shouldn't erase that that EMF. I don't think I need it. It was VBL. So now I can calculate the force on a wire. It's going to be the integral of IQ. The magnetic force on a piece of wire DF is I dl cross B. So I and dl are perpendicular, so I can just call that I dl B. And if the current's constant, the length's constant, I can integrate this and get the total force of magnitude as ILB. Well, that's pretty easy, right? So I know I, so I get F is going to be I, which is VBL, times LB over R. So I get VB squared L squared over R. But what about the direction? So here we already said the current is going up, and I cross B is going to be that way. So the force is this direction. So if you want to call it the negative x direction, that's fine. I'm just going to put V, B squared, L squared over R. Now that makes sense, right? Because if I'm pulling this, or this is moving this way, and the force was that way, what would happen to that rod? Well, it would increase in speed. It'd be going faster. And if it goes faster, you would get a greater current, which would give a greater force, which would make it go even faster. This thing will just blow up, like boom, the whole universe would be destroyed. So instead, the force is in the opposite direction of velocity, so you're not getting anything for free. It's not like a explosion machine. Okay, now what about the velocity as a function of time? So suppose I take this rod that has some mass, I give it a push. It's starting with the velocity v, and I want to find the velocity as a function of time. Well, let's just go ahead and write down Newton's second law in the x direction. F net in the x direction is max, and that's going to be equal to negative, the force, it's in the negative x direction, v b squared L squared over R. So that's my Newton's second law equation. I want to solve for the velocity. So I know a little trick here. I can write the acceleration as the derivative of the velocity with respect to time. So I'm going to divide by mass, and I get dv dt equals negative, let's just put this as m b squared, no, m's not on the top, dummy, negative b squared L squared over m r v. Differential equation. So how do you solve this differential equation? Well, this one we can solve by separation of variables. Okay, so I can do a little trick. I can multiply both sides by dt. I can divide both sides by v. Cancel, 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 cancel. And I get the following differential equation. dv over v is negative b squared L squared over m r dt. And let's just call this thing k, b squared L squared over mr. And so I get this is equal to negative k dt. Now I can integrate both sides. I'll do it over here. And so the integral of dv over v from v0 to V. I know that I shouldn't do that, and that is wrong, right? Because you can't have the limits of integration the same as your variable of integration. But I'm going to do it anyway because we know that really maybe this should be V prime prime, but whatever. I'm just too lazy. And then this is going to go from 0 to t. So the integral of dv over v is the natural log of v. So I get natural log of v. I'm going to get natural log of v. I'll do it the right way, v prime, from v0 to v. And this is going to be negative kt from 0 to t, t prime. So this, I don't want to do a subtraction. We're going to do natural log as a you don't want to, I can't take the natural log of something with units. So this is going to be equal to natural log of v over v0 is equal to negative kt. Now I can take the exponential to both sides and I get my answer. So this is going to be equal to v0 e to the negative kt, where k is that thing right there. This is drag. This is the same thing as linear drag if you did this in classical mechanics. Okay, now for the fun part. So if I give this initial velocity v0, then it's going to have a kinetic energy of 1/2 mv squared. And then it stops. So where does all that energy go? Well, I'm blanking out here. So it's got to be dissipated through the resistor. So the power in the resistor is I times R. But I, we know, power is V B L. No, it's not I times R. It's I times V. Or that's I squared times R. So let's write that as V squared, B squared, L squared over R squared times R. Or V squared, B squared, L squared over R. So that's my power. And power is the rate of change of energy. But I want to find the total energy. So the work done would be the integral of power dt from 0 to infinity. Right? Yeah. Right. Okay. So I have, I'm blanking out here. Work, I can put in my expression for my velocity right there as a function of time. So let's do that. So this is going to be equal to 0 to infinity of the power, which is going to be v squared, v0 squared, e to the negative 2 kt, right, because I squared that. And then I have b squared, L squared over R dt. Okay, so most of that stuff's just a constant. So I can write work is going to be equal to v0 squared, b squared, L squared over R times the integral of e to the negative 2 kt dt. So I can integrate that. That's not too bad. The integral is going to be equal to negative 1 over 2k, right? Yeah. So I get v0 squared, b squared, L squared over R, negative 1 over 2k, and then I get e to the negative 2k t from 0 to infinity. So at infinity, this is just going to be equal to 1. No, 0. And that's 1. So we're going to get, I'm running out of room here. I don't like working up, but we're working up. Okay. So work is going to be equal to this stuff, v0 squared, b squared, L squared over R. Where did my m go? Didn't I have an m in the, oh, it's in the k. It's in the k. K has an m. I forgot what that was. Okay. I'm gonna cheat here. So k, oh yeah, and then -1 over 2k. And then I'm going to get from this at infinity is 0 minus this at 0 is 1. So this is just going to be -1, so I can get rid of that. So work is going to be v0 squared, b squared, l squared over r, and then I have to divide by a half. Oh, that's good, right? Because there's a half right there. And then this k, what did we say that was? Oh, it was the stuff. It was, I can't remember. Okay, I don't want to write it in there. Rewind the video and see put in the values for k. And then when you do that, you'll get 1/2 mv0 squared. And that's the answer. And I apologize for stopping on that one, but I didn't want to I don't want to make a mistake. That's it.